the Fall Classic, the Houston Astros, and the Washington Nationals. As much as it pains me to say, those two names are in the World Series. I really had high hopes for my favorite baseball team, the Boston Red Sox. I thought that the Red Sox would do enough to get back. I really did. I genuinely did. I thought they'll figure it out. Maybe they'll make some trades at the trade deadline for a decent closer. Their hitting will be good. They'll outscore teams. Boy, was I wrong. I'll get a mulligan on that one, I guess. Oh, God. Red Sox probably had one of the worst title defense attempts in recent World Series champion history. I can say that. I'll be honest. Not a good year. But for as bad as the Boston Red Sox season was this year, at least the Yankees are not in this World Series. Thank the baseball gods that the New York Yankees did not make it to this World Series, because they probably would have won it. I don't know why. I just felt like that. Even last year, I thought when the Red Sox won the World Series in 2018, the Yankees would set the stage, they'd come back and win it this year. Astros, I thought they'd be good, but they'd lose to the Yankees this time, and the Yankees would make the World Series. That's just how I thought it would go down prior to the playoffs actually getting started, just as the playoffs were about to get started. And I was wrong again, which that time I'm glad I was wrong. That's the time you're happy to be wrong, when the Yankees don't do well and you thought they would and they didn't. What a crushing defeat that was for the Yankees fans. I definitely have to throw that out there. I was at the Amherst Ale House with the guys from Trainwreck Sports, and Ty B and I were the only two guys that were cheering. I jumped when Jose Altuve hit that home run. I jumped off my chair that I was sitting in to celebrate. I could not help it. I can't stand the Yankees. It's well known. More so, I can't stand the fact that the fans kind of felt like the whole league revolves around them, and some of the Twitter reactions that I've seen from Yankees fans, the true bitterness. I get the fact that the loss was a tough pill to swallow. I understand that, but come on. It's so few and far between in New York Yankees history to suffer bitter losses. It's been more common these last 15, 20 years, but maybe they should be a little bit used to it with the ineptitude that the Yankees have had the last 10 years. The key stat, though, that really puts it in perspective as far as the historical dominance that the Yankees have had is the fact that the last decade, the Yankees have made a World Series in every decade but this one. So, give them credit for the fact that they did that, but also let's point and laugh at the fact that they didn't do it in this decade. I really enjoy that. So, all shots towards the Yankees aside, the Houston Astros, rightfully so, earned their place as the American League team in this World Series. And boy, did the Washington Nationals do their due diligence to represent the National League in this World Series. What a run the Nationals have went on heading into this World Series. It's been a phenomenal journey for the Nationals. They've done a lot of things right. They've done a few things wrong. The Nationals sweeping the Cardinals, the Nationals in the division series, beating the tar out of the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had been to the last two World Series. So for me, I guess when you see the Nationals make it to the World Series by beating the Dodgers and beating the Cardinals, you can't take them lightly. You can't take them lightly. You just can't do it. And one dynamic of postseason baseball that I don't think gets talked about enough is a 1-2-3, a starting pitching 1-2-3 that sets itself up for game 1, game 2, game 3 in a 7-game series. And the Nationals have just as good a 1-2-3 pitching-wise as anyone. Just as good as the Astros, just as good as anyone. And Max Scherzer, Steven Strasburg, and Patrick Corbin. All three guys at one point in their career have been aces, have been leaned on as the guy, the man in the pitching rotation. Scherzer, one of the best pitchers in the league. Strasburg has had a phenomenal 18-win season, has stayed healthy, has avoided injury completely this year, and I'm really happy for him for that because Steven Strasburg has been through hell and back as a pitcher in the league. I mean, really. Some of the injuries he's had, elbow, shoulder, all sorts of stuff that would have thrown any pitcher out of the league. But Steven Strasburg has bounced back, shown the willingness that he is that guy that we all thought he could be. Drafted as the first overall pick out of San Diego State, playing for the Syracuse Sky Chiefs at the time. I got to see him pitch against the Bisons a few times in minor league baseball, but it wasn't long before he was brought up as the ace of the Nationals. They add more to the team with Scherzer, with Corbin. Patrick Corbin, a big signing for the Nationals. They didn't keep Bryce Harper, but they did bring in Pat Corbin to really solidify that 1-2-3 as such. And you also have to throw in there for the Nationals, the lineup for the Nationals, Trey Turner, Juan Soto, Ryan Zimmerman, the viable vet. I've really enjoyed watching this team come together. And, of course, last and certainly not least, we saved the best for last for the Washington Nationals, Anthony Rendon, a potential NL MVP candidate. I really believe that. What a phenomenal season that he had this year. A great year for Anthony Rendon. A season that I think will be talked about for many years. I mean, the complete and total well-rounded dominance of his game, offensively with the stick, defensively with the glove, one of the better players in the game today. But on the flip side of that, you got the Houston Astros. You got the 2017 World Series champs, a team that appears as if they are a freight train. They really are. And the Nationals are a freight train as well. They just swept the Cardinals. Not that the Cardinals are that great. I was a little bit shocked that the Braves got ousted by the Cardinals. I thought the Braves would do much better. But the Nationals, riding the momentum of beating the Dodgers, just blew right through the Cardinals in the blink of an eye. But the Astros are a proven commodity. And I feel like the Nationals are a little bit of a Cinderella team. Not to say that they're not legitimate, not to say that they don't belong in the World Series. You bet your ass that they do. They do, 100%. Both of these teams belong in this series. Both of these teams are the teams that should be in the World Series. They've earned it. And that's the case with baseball. Usually baseball doesn't have teams that don't belong there. If you make it this far, you belong there. You earn the right. It's not like the NFL where there's pass interference calls and one team gets in and another team doesn't. True trolling right there. But how do I see this series going down? How do I see it shaking up? Who is the better team is the question. I think the Astros are the better team. I think they do have the better bullpen. And I think that that's where this series will really dictate who the winner is. Based on the bullpen of the Astros, that's where we will really see who will win this series. Because as great as these starters are, as great as Greinke, Verlander, Cole, as great as those three are for the Astros, and as great as Scherzer, Strasburg, and Corbin are for the Nationals, I think that this will come down to the bullpen. Situational hitting obviously being thrown in there as well. The Astros and the Nationals. I think the Astros are a little bit better in the postseason in situational hitting this year. The Nationals have just had a lot of solid wins, but I think the Astros are going to force this series to be a close one based on how good they are. Not necessarily close game for game, series close. The Astros could potentially sweep the Nationals. The Astros could win this series in 5. The Astros could win this series in 6. But I think a lot would have to happen in order for that to happen. I think the World Series will dictate just who actually is the best team. And I think the Astros are the best team. I think the World Series will bring out the best in each team. I think this series will go 6 or 7 games with the Astros winning it. Garrett Cole, Justin Verlander, Zach Greinke, veteran savviness of those 3 pitchers, in particular Verlander and Greinke, I think will really help. But the Nationals are good too. More so, I think the Astros lineup is just better than the Nationals. But we'll see. Maybe the Nationals starting 3 is a little bit better than the Astros. But if I was a betting man, if I was a picking man, I would pick the Astros, even though they are heavily favored. It wouldn't really win a whole lot. But I'm going with the Astros. So there you have it. Who will win the World Series? The Houston Astros, in my opinion, will win their second World Series title in 3 seasons. Thankfully, the Yankees didn't make it. Better luck next year, as I like to say. The Red Sox, we'll see what happens with them. A lot of changes are about to happen for the Boston Red Sox. Take care, everybody.